question paper of November 2024. So we are going to look at the last question that we have on that question paper. That is our question 4. So our question 4 reads, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So you're given a scenario that you just need to go through before you attempt to answer the questions. So beneath the scenario, we are having our questions whereby 4.1 reads, what attributes could distinguish Eric's petrol station from other competitors? So obviously, we need to raise the attributes, obviously, that are going to be different from other competitors that are going to provide petrol in petrol station. So remember, when we are looking at an attribute, it is a quality or a feature that is a quality or a feature of Eric's petrol station that is making it different from other competitors. So we want to say that there are different attributes or various attributes that we can try to deduce that can be unique from other uh, businesses that are operating in the same industry. So if you come to other section, you'll see that the first one, yeah, since it's a petrol station, so it should be easy for customers to come in and go out as they come and buy the fuel. So we are saying convenience, it should be convenient, also located at a convenient place that is making it easier for customers to come and buy the fuel and go out. So we are saying convenience, easy in, easy out. So that's the first attribute that we have. The second is that reliability or dependability. It should be reliable, that every time the customer needs the fuel is always available. So that's the reliability or dependability. So this becomes the second part that we have, which is a bit of dependability. Then moving on to the third one is a quality product. So the product that is going to be offered in terms of the fuel should be a quality product that is going to last as expected. So that's how it can be also an attribute that can be distinguished from other competitors. Then we look at the next one, the superior customer service. You are always there for your customers. So the service that obviously the customers are going to be provided with should be services that are always up to scratch. That are going to leave the customers satisfied. So basically, that's what we have on that one. Then creativity. So in the operations of that petrol station, the fuel station, it has the operations has to explain creativity in the way that the services are going to be provided, the way the customers come, the way the petrol station is laid out, or the way it is decorated, is to show a sense of creativity, which is making it different from other petrol stations that are in that area. So basically, this is what we have on the first part of our question, which is on attributes which could distinguish Eric's petrol station from other competitors. So moving on to the second question, which is now 4.2, it reads a name 4 forms of market segments that may be applied at Eric's petrol station. So you're going to see that we are going to bring in various market segmentations that are there that can be forms of market segments that might be applied by Eric's petrol station. So basically, when we're looking at a market segment, it comes as a subdivision of the broad market. When we subdivide the broad market into smaller groups with shared characteristics, then we call that a market segment. So obviously, how can we now subdivide the broad market into smaller groups? Is what our question is asking. So you're going to see that one of other section, the first that we have is demographic segmentation. And we are saying a demographic segmentation is going to be based on demographic characteristics, uh, is going to be based on a demographic characteristics like age. We can segment our broad market into different age groups. We can also use a gender. We can also use in terms of uh, the income levels of the consumers also can be also used as a market segmentation basis. So we are saying this is the first one that we have, which is representing demographic. So moving on to the second part, whereby we have product-related segmentation. So on our product-related segmentation, we are basing our segments on our product-related segmentation. We are saying in this case, we have got Eric's petrol station. It will engage in modifying its product into several different products in order to attract different kinds of customers. So basically, we are having one product that is being modified so that it meets needs of um, different customers. So basically, it entails taking your product and making small changes to it so that it meets the needs of different group of customers. So that is a product related segmentation. So we go to geographic segmentation, whereby on geographic segmentation is segmentation on the basis of where the customer live. The location of the customers is the basis uh, the segmentation. So we are going to segment them or subdivide them into different groups depending on where they are located or where they are living. So that's a geographic segmentation. We look at psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation is based on psychographic characteristics, which, for example, we are talking about the lifestyle that is being lived by the customers or the personality types. We can also uh, engage the issue of buying motives. Also is describes psychographic characteristics, which is a psychographic segmentation. So basically, that's what we have on 4.2. We move on to the next part, which is now 4.3, which reads name 5 pre-operating costs applicable to Eric's petrol station. So pre-operating costs, these are costs, or we can rather say these are expenses that occur before the starting of the business. So they occur before the starting of the business. So we have got the issues of rent. Rent is needed, or the building that is going to be used, or rather we could call the premises that we are going to use to operate, are also needed before we start to operate. So the premises, obviously, if we do not own the building, we would need the renter to pay that building that we are going to rent. So basically, that's a pre-operating cost that we can also include. We have got rent as the first one. We also have equipment. We would need equipment that is going to be used in the operations of that business. Inventory costs in terms of the handling of the inventory that is going to be at that business also is also needed before we start to operate. Advertising and marketing, would want to market the product. So obviously the budget should also include the advertising and the marketing um, money that is going to be used. We also have insurance premiums. I remember it's a business that is operating. Obviously, it needs to be insured. So we need to have those funds for insurance. Research and development also, there are researches that are obviously going to take place as the business operates. So basically, these are the pre-operating costs that we have concerning the business that we are looking at, in particular, that is the Eric's fuel station. So I will move on to the next part of our question, which is going to be 4.4. Pricing is the second component of the marketing mix. Name the factors that will influence the pricing policy at Eric's petrol station. So pricing policy basically is the business approach to determine the price at which it offers a good or service, obviously, to the market. So that's the pricing policy. So it comes as a business approach to determine the price. How do they determine the price that they are going to set is the pricing policy. So the question is asking us on factors that influence that pricing policy. We're going to see that we've got many factors that are going to influence the price. We can talk about the costs. If it's a producing, we are talking about the costs that are going to be incurred in producing that product. So in this case, looking at Eric's petrol station, we are going to look at the prices that are going to be charged with other competitors that are also in the petrol station businesses. what price are they charging? So obviously, we do not have to charge prices that are higher than those competitors. So obviously, in that sense, we see that competitors are also determining the pricing policy. So typically, those are the factors that we are going to look at. So we are going to see that we have the competitors' price as the first one. We can also talk about the changes in consumers' tastes and habits. We can also determine the price that we are going to set. Change in consumers' income. We can also have changes in production costs and level of supply and demand. Remember, the level of supply and demand greatly influence the price. When the supply is high, we are going to see the price going down. When the demand is high, we are going to have a demand pull effect whereby the prices will also go up. So these are the factors that we have. So moving on to the next part of our question, which is now going to be 4.5. What are the important points that the owners of the petrol station should take into account when selecting a supplier? So obviously, when selecting a supplier, we also have various factors that we have to take into account when we are choosing a supplier. Does the supplier have the capacity to supply the products needed, or if there are raw materials that are needed, or the inputs that are needed, do they have the capacity to supply? Is very important. Are they going to supply just in time, as we need those supplies is of great importance. So we'll see that we are going to look at reliability, they're going to be reliable in providing us with what we need. The proximity, are they near us or not? So obviously, we would need someone who is near so that there is convenience. We also have what type of service do they offer? Do they have customer service? It's something that has to be taken into consideration also. Sustainable practice. So on sustainable practice, we are saying, do they implement environmentally friendly strategies? Do they implement environmentally friendly strategies is also of great importance. So it's something that we have to take into account. We do not have to engage with someone, with a supplier who is not into applying sustainable practices. So basically, very important. So these are the points that we have on that part. So moving on to the last part of our question, which is 4.6. It reads, what is the purpose of drawing up a cash flow statement? So basically, a cash flow statement, remember, it takes actual cash movements. It shows actual cash movements in and out of the business. So with that, we can now be able to deduce the purpose of drawing up the cash flow statement. Obviously, it's there to show the actual cash position of the business or the liquidity position of the business. Remember, non-cash items are not entered in the cash flow statement. So it shows the actual cash position of the business, which is very important. So we have the purposes are listed in the other section, whereby you're saying to determine cash sales. So it's easy for us to identify the cash sales if we prepare the statement of cash flow. Then also the amounts you expect to receive from customers also can also be indicated by the cash flow statement, and then the amounts you expect to pay out also can also be indicated by the cash flow statement. So basically, this is the purpose of the cash flow statement. So this is what we have, guys, according to this question 4 of the question number of November 2024. Let's meet again in the next video.